So guys, we're going to start with MS Access, and let me tell you what is the importance of MS Access. Imagine there is no programming language in this world, right? How would you go for doing this? How to go for doing the relationship concept between within the tables? So when there was no programming language, it is Microsoft who brought this relational database management concept using your MS Access. First of all, we'll understand what is MS Access in real time. Then we'll talk about this content, what we are going to cover up. What I'll do here, guys, I'll be comparing the disadvantages of Excel and the advantages of using Access first, right? Okay, what I'll do here, I'll move on to data. I will go for looking at this retail data here. Okay, guys. Before this retail data, I'll go for this data model. Look at this retail data. Can you see this, guys, everyone? Can you see this file? It is given the sales data, it is given the customer data, it is given the product data, it is given the vendor data, and it is also given the time data. Yes or no? If you want to design the data model, how will you design the data model? You will have a sales table, you will have a customer table, you will have a product table, you'll have a time table, you will have a vendor table. How would you connect to sales to customer by customer ID, sales to product by product ID, sales to vendor by vendor ID, and sales to time by order month to month? Yes or no? This is how we design the data model. For designing the data model in Excel, what do you do? You use VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP with match function. Then you go for creating expression. Then you get the final output. Yes or no? So many things you are doing using what? Using your Excel VLOOKUP. But the same data model will design using Access. How quickly we can do in Access? Let's understand this. What I'll do, right click, I'll create new one Access database. I call this as data model. Now, this Access data model, what I will do first, I'll just open this Access database. It is a blank database. Do you have any data inside? I don't have any data inside. What I'll do, I will choose here external data. I will choose the data from Excel file. Where I want to browse the file, where I want to read this, I would be reading this data, going to this D drive, crash course, MS Access, data. I'll go for data model data. Can you see this, guys, everyone? Now I'll go for, after selecting this file, I'll go to next. I'll import the first file name is what? Sales. I'll go to import this table here with no primary key. I'll always select this table. I call sales underscore master. I just give the name as this way. So the first table which I imported now, that is called sales master. Can you see this? Now what I'll do here, I'll go for importing the second table. I'll go for Excel file, browse the file location. I'll select the next file, which is going to be my what? Customer table. I will select this customer table. Always choose first row contents as your header. Then I'll go to next. I'll choose no primary key. I will call this as customer master table. Did you see this, guys? Same way, I'll go for importing other two table. What are those two tables? Product table, vendor table, and the time table. Yes or no? So I'll click on product table and you'll go for importing this way. And you call this table name as what? Product master. Does it make sense to all of you guys, everyone? Yes or no? Are you getting this, what I'm doing, guys? Those are online. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So do you understand what I'm doing here? I'm
Yes, sir.
importing these sheets of information as a table to my Access. Guys, please go on mute. Then I go for importing the last table, which is called time table. So I call this as the table name is time underscore master. This is how I have imported sales, customer, product, time, and vendor. What you'll do, you'll go to create. You'll create as what? You'll go for query design. In this query design, what will you do now? You'll bring your sales master, you'll bring your customer master, bring your product master, bring your vendor master, and bring your time master. Does it make sense to all of you guys, everyone? How to make a relationship? Customer ID to customer ID. This is what? Product ID to product ID. This is what, guys? Making vendor ID to vendor ID. It is also making as what? Order month to month. Now the relationship which will do is a left join. I'll choose include all the records from sales master and common record from customer master. Now the arrow indicator is coming as what? Double click on this second option, which is left join. I'll tell you about these joinings later, but at this point in time, I'm just trying to help you here to understand this. Got it? Then I double click, I select all these columns and I put it here. I select customer gender, customer age, and I drag it beside to the customer. Same way, I go for product name, category, and price. I drag it and I put it beside to the product table. Same way, I go for looking at the vendor. In the vendor, I select all these columns that I have. I drag it and I paste it beside to the vendor ID. Where is the vendor? Here. Now, the quarter field I want to drag, I should put it besides to my order month. I want to create a new field called sales. How do you create sales? Colon, I'll create an expression here. Expression is that I will be multiplying these units with the field name is what? Price. Yes or no? So I'll say units to be multiplied with price. And I can run this query to get my output. I got the output here, guys. Yes or no? So this is what I save this query called final output. So I don't have to vary at all. My final output is created. I can right click. I can export to this an Excel file. I can browse this file location, data model. In this data model, I can say final output XLSX. Now my data has been exported here in this folder as called what? You can see in the Access database you created this. How did you create this? You made the relationship between these tables. You drag those columns. You created an expression as what? The last field called as sales. Yes or no? You have already exported this data and it has come to the Excel file. Now you can see in the Excel file, your final output data is coming. Yes or no? Are you getting this? In Excel, we look up how much time it would have taken. We look up match one by one column, but in Access, you are able to do this. This is called relational database model. What is relational database model, guys? Here. Now, since I have already imported the data, I can quickly do the analysis. I can present the analysis using pivot table. I can see by product name, I can see by category, I can bring my number of units has been sold out, I can show my total sales happened, I can also bring my region and the country where the sales is happened. I can show that. I can bring the state. Okay, this is for Karnataka only. Okay, location. I can bring this location to see how the sales is happening. Can you see this, guys? I'm able to do this output quickly after making this final output. And this final output is coming out of what? Access. And in Access, what we have designed, relational database model. What is relational database model? You made the relationship between multiple tables here. Yes or no? So that is why we have to learn Access. You know what the best part? The best part is that if you go to SQL view, you see in the backend SQL program is automatically written. You don't have to write this program. It is automatically written in the backend. I'll teach you now Access from the beginning. Is this interesting? Now we'll go slowly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll go slowly. So what happens, guys? I tell you, in the industry, maximum people, those who know Access, they do their job like this. Even if they don't have a programming background, they're not worried at all. They take the data in Access, they look at the SQL view, copy the code and paste it in SQL, it will run. Copy the code, run it in SAS SQL, it will run. Copy the code using in Python SQL, that will also run. So you should know Python Access properly before getting into any programming language. Now we'll go for learning Access class from the beginning. What we'll do here, we'll understand why Access. Second, how to create a table in Access database. Third, how to go for importing data in Access. Fourth, how to go for exporting data from Access. We'll talk about how to go for table with the queries. We'll talk about joining tables, how to go for join two tables in Access. We'll talk about how to make relationship, how to design data model, and how to use Access functions. We will cover everything now with having a good patience. Yes or no? Now let me start this class. The first thing I'll talk about access table, right? I have a table called student inquiry 2022. Can you see this guy's table name? Can you see this table, guys? Everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
In this table, this contains as what? As your header. Mobile. This contains as your header. Now you want to go for creating the same table in Access. So how should you do that? Go back to the folder, right click, create one Access database. Call this Access table. So how to go for creating a table? Double click on this, double click on this, going back to this Access. Let me explain you. It is the Access interface. It shows at the top Access table is the database name. What is the extension of the file? .accdb. And we are using what? Access 2007 to 2016 file format. Yes or no? Below here it says that file, home, create external data, database tools, and help. And if you want to learn more about Access. Now I want to create a table. I'll say create. I'll go for clicking on the table. The moment you click on table, it'll say save the table. I'll save the table name with student underscore inquiry. For creating this table, what will you do? You will say, please design the view. How will you design it? The first column which you want to take, you remove this primary key. Guys, please go on mute. Student ID, the data type would be what? Short text. Second column name is going to be what, guys? student name. Guys, please go on mute. Student name. Then you'll go for gender. Then you'll go for age. Age would be what, guys? Character or numeric? So it's a number, right? Then you'll go for education. Education is what? Short text. Then you will go for occupation. Occupation is what? Short text. Then you'll go for date of inquiry, which is also going to be what, guys? Short text. Then you'll go for course, which is also going to be short text. Does it make sense, guys? You can copy this data. You can select these columns and paste the values. Does it make sense to all of you guys? This is how we created one access table for you. Clear? You define first column, copy and paste the data. You go for creating a table here. Clear to all of you? Okay, good. Right, done. Now we will be talking about next how to go for reading data into access. So reading data from what? CSV file. Reading data from what? Excel text file. Reading data from Excel file and access file. So first you go for creating here call data reading. So how do you go for data reading? So guys, remember one thing. What is the default size of the access? 508 or 484 KB. What is the maximum size of the access? 1.99 GB. It cannot go beyond 1.99 GB. I open this access database now. Since I have opened this database, what I'll do first, I'll go for reading data from Excel file. To read data from Excel file, you'll go to external data, new data source, file as Excel file. Where you'd like to browse the data, you'll be browsing this data from your D drive, course, access, data. You will choose the data from made underscore Australia underscore 2021.xlsx file. The moment you read this, it's saying that there is a sheet called made underscore new underscore 2016. Next, the first row always contains as your header. Then next, you'll choose the first field name is customer ID. Second field name is company, which is short text. Third field name is given as what? Date with time. Right? Now I'll say next. Always choose no primary key. Right? Otherwise, it will consider the first column as a primary key. Then you'll go for keeping this table called made underscore 2023. I call this as Excel. That means I'm reading this table from the Excel file. I call this table name here. When I save this table, I got the data here. Can you see this, guys? Everyone? Clear? Good. Now we'll go for reading data from text file. So how to get it from the text file? You will choose it from .txt file. The moment you go to the text file, what does it say? What is the delimiter is coming here, guys? You don't see any delimiter means it's a tab delimiter. Can you see this? It's a tab as a delimiter in the text file. Now you will choose first line contents as your header. You can see here next, next, and say no primary key. Next, and call this table name as what? Made 2023 underscore txt. There will be some error while reading the data. I'll show you what is that error. The error is coming for the field called date of birth. Can you see this, guys? Card registration date, date of birth, for the date. All these three date field is throwing error for you. That means if I open my data, my field is missing with some of the data. Can you see? There are missing records are there. Yes or no? Something is going wrong. My data is not able to read the data properly. So what you will do here, first you select this and you select this table, say shift delete. You have deleted this table. Soon after delete the table, you can always go to file, go to info and do compact and repair. Now we will go for reading the same file again. You'll go to file, click on text file, go to reading the file here. Now this time when I'm reading the file, you know what I'll do? I'll go to advanced. In this advanced, I can see the field called card registration date is coming MDY. Can you see this? Guys, it is coming as what? MDY. If the date format is here and there, it is going to throw an error. So just to make sure that I'm reading all this data, I'll make this column as what? Let's say I'll make it as long text. Do you see somewhere long text is coming, guys? Yes. Same thing for date of birth. I want to convert this column to long text. And also there is one more column which is called as what? Further date or card registration date is there. Okay, long text. First use date is also going to be long text. So I change the data type of this column. Then I will say import the file as made 2023 txt file. Let's see if it is reading the data without error. Yes, it is not showing any error now because I read this field value as what? character, which is left align. Can you see this? So now I'm able to read my text file data properly in Access. Now I'll go for reading data from where? CSV file. How will you go for reading data from CSV? You will choose text file only. In text file, if you go to browse the file, it shows the CSV file is here. Can you see this? There, I can go for reading the data. What is the delimiter in this case? Comma as a delimiter. Can you see this? I will say advanced. I will change all the date format to what? Long text. Why? Because otherwise it's going to throw some error. I don't want to see any error, so I just convert this into long text. Next, and always choose no primary key. You just try to read the data and call this made underscore 2023 CSV file. This is how you got to know how to go for importing data from Excel file, text file, and CSV file. Is this clear? Now, how to go for getting data from your Access database? You will choose Access database. Where you will browse the data? It is browse data here only. Yes or no? If I go here, it says in this database, you have a table called made underscore Australia underscore 2021. I can say, okay, save. What table name you want to call this? Save as called made underscore 2023 underscore ACCES. So I'm saving this table name with made access, made 2023, and it is going to read this data as access file. Can you see the table is coming guys here? What's the table name? Rename made underscore 2023 access. This is how I understand how to go for importing data from access to access, Excel to access, CSV to access, text file to access. I can do it. Okay. Next is how to go for exporting data. Data reading is over. I'll be showing how to go for exporting data, right? So for exporting, I have created a folder called output data. Do you see somewhere? No, right? Okay. Let's create here called data exporting. Okay. Now let's say in this access database, what is the table name? Made underscore Australia underscore 2021. Can you see this? How many records are there, guys? 5112, right? If you click on this, it will go to the last column. Okay, last record. So now you have last record is 5112. This is the table you want to export. How will do this? Right click, export to an Excel file. Where you want to export this data? I'll be exporting this data, D drive, crash course, MS Access, data. Oh, I have given this output also here. But anyways, I'm going data. In this reading data, I'll say this is going to save as what? Made underscore 2021.xlsx. So now you can see in your folder, you have a table has been exported with made underscore Australia underscore 2021. Same data, if you right click and say export, this time you'll be exporting to what? Text file. Now you will be choosing here, first row contains header, and where do you want to save this file and which name you want to save this file. You want to save this file called made underscore Australia underscore 2021. Now before that, I would like to choose my delimiter. It is automatically selected as delimiter as what? Comma, and with what? Text qualifier. Can you see this? If you say do not use none, no text qualifier, but comma as a delimiter. If I go for exporting the data, I can see my data has been exported here with what is the delimiter? Comma. Does it make sense? Are you getting this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to export this data again, you can export to CSV file. How do you export this? You will choose this file as what? CSV file. That's it. Right? Choose none. Now, if you go back, you can see your data has been exported with the name of what? CSV file. Can you see this? So this is how we go for exporting data from Access. Right click, export to Excel file, export to text file, and text to CSV file. Now, if you want to export data to another Access database, you will choose this Access database here. For example, you want to export to this data set, this database, data reading. Or let's say I create a new database in the folder called data export. Now I want to export to this database. Save. Next. What's the table name? Called made underscore new underscore 2021. Done. Now, if you go back to the folder, you can see data export is created. Inside this data export, made underscore new underscore 2021 is also coming. Yes or no? So this is how, guys, we have completed how to go for data importing and data exporting in Access. Clear to all? Now we are going to talk about queries. This is interesting. Look at here. I create Access database. I call Access queries. What is the default size of this Access database? And what is the maximum size of the Access database? 1.99 GB. I open this Access database. What I'll do here, I'll go to external data. I will choose the file to be imported. Which file you want to import here? Called select query data. I can select this data. Yes or no, guys? When I select this data, I will choose as what? The first row contains header, and I'll call this no primary key, and the table name I'll give it as what? Made underscore 2023. Does it make sense, guys? Understood? Now, what is select query? I'll show you now. I go to create. I create a query design. Now, query one is created. I drag this table over here. It shows me the table along with what are the columns are there. Can you see this, guys? Everyone? Can you see this? So
Yes,
in
sir.
this query, I select customer ID, I select company, I select gender, I select age, I select state code, I select town, I select number of trips and the spend amount. Can you see this? If I say run, it is going to run with those many selected columns. Understood now, guys? Are you getting it? Now I can also go for adding a column called age underscore bucket. So how do you go for creating age bucket? What will you do? You'll go to build expression. It is here. You will write double if, not if, double if in Access. If age greater or equal to 60, you will call them as what? Old age. Yes or no? Double if. If age greater than equal to 50, you will call them as what? Mid old age. Again, double if. If age, the column name age, is greater or equal to 40, you will call them as what? Mid age. Again, double if. If age is greater or equal to 30, you'll call them as mid young age, else you'll call them as young age. एक दो तीन. How many brackets are there? One, two, three, four. I will say 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's a okay. The moment it's a okay and it's saying tick, that means you have created a new column called age bucket. Can you see this? Understood now, guys? So what I did here, I'll go to design view. I'll right click. I will now copy this to show you guys in a Word file. Does it make sense? You're creating as what? Age bucket. Giving and what? Double IF. The field name is what? Age. Greater or equal to 60. How do you want to call this? Right? Greater than equal to 50. How do you call this? Greater than equal to 40. How do you call this? Else you call this as what? Does it make sense to all of you guys? Everyone? Clear? Okay. This is how we go for using select query. Now I save this query name called select query underscore one. So this is my first query which I created. Is this clear to all of you? The best part of it, you know what, guys? When I created this query, I can see in the backend there's a SQL query is written. Check it out. Yes or no? Can you see? Select. It is given the column name from the table reference. Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Right? Then it is reading this as what? Number of trips and spend amount. Then it is written as if nested if condition to create the age bucket from the table. This is what the SQL program which is coming. Though that is not going to work in SQL, we have to remove that column. Then we have to use case and when. Okay. Is this clear to all of you? Now this is how the select queries happen. Now we'll talk about select query 2. What is select query 2? I'll show you here. I take this table. If I double click on this, I can select all the columns and I can run this to call the entire table. Yes or no? So this is called select query 2. Done. Understood now, guys? One is select query 1,
Yes,
another
sir.
one is select query 2. Now the third one, which we'll call it here, you drag the star and put it here and run the query. You can save this query called select query 3. Does it make sense? Everyone understood how to go for getting this? So we can go for selecting all the column, or we can bring the star, which is select star from the table, or you can go for selecting the column that you want to manipulate. Is this clear to all? Now we can also write the query with filter criteria. What
Sir,
is the filter?
sir, the third one I couldn't understand.
The third one, actually I'm using star. I just drag this star and put it here. Can you see this?
Do one star.
Only one star.
Okay.
That star means it's selecting the entire table. Third
So
query,
first
I
and second are same.
yeah,
Sorry,
it is same.
second and third are same.
Yeah, same. I select customer ID, company, gender, age, state code, press the control key, number of trips, town, and the spend number. I select those column and drag it here. Can you see this? This time I put under criteria, it's coming criteria as Apollo. You know what will happen? It will pull data only for Apollo. How many records are there? 580. Now again I go back to the design view. I say female. If I run this query, it is pulling. Access is not case sensitive. Female is what? Capital F, small, rest all small. But I give the criteria with what? All capital. Still is going to get the value of female. So now it is showing how many records are coming?
388.
388. Now I'll put age greater than equal to 50. So what is happening? He's going to put all the age greater than equal to 50, which is 178 now. I'll give another criteria, state code in, called West Australia and New South Wales and QLD. So that means I'm calling only 3 state code, which is coming. How many records are coming here? 127. Yes or no? Everyone, can you see this? Now I go for another criteria where I can say, now this is going to be spend amount is greater than equal to $1,000. Can you see? Understood? Yes or no? If I say it is greater than equal to $500, how many customers are coming? These many customers are coming. Now I want to go for pulling the town name, like what I write here, C percentage. Run this query. Did you get any output? No. Now the question is coming to mind, sir, how to use like? Can I write like C percentage? Will it work? Does it work? No. So that means I have to search in Google now, right? Called like operator in access. Let's see if it is given in access. Does it given this like operator? No. Okay. Search more to find it out. So it's saying that you have to give it as what? C star. Let's see. Does it work now, guys? Now, this is how we go for using filter criteria. We save this query as what? Select query 4. Understood now, guys? How to go for getting data, how to go for filtering data, how to go for manipulating data using select query. Now we'll talk about how to summarize data. To summarize data, what we'll do here, I'll select this. Now I want to summarize by what? Company wise count of customer. For summarization, I will say this total field here. It is grouped by company and this is going to be count. Can you see this? If I run this program, it is showing what? Company wise count of customer ID. So how it is coming? You're clicking on this total, you're making this group by to company, and this is count. And you want to call this column name as subs. So now you just write subs and put a colon. This is going to get the value of what? Subs. Understood? Now I want to go for looking at average age. What I'll write here? I'll write age and I'll take it as what? And I'll call this as what? Average underscore age. Does it work? Yes or no? Right. Now the age which is coming, I want to present this age as what? I want to present this age as what? 0 decimal values. What I'll write here? Format age with standard. Just do it here. Does it work? No. What I'll do here, there's a side call. take on the net. Can you see this guy, side guys? Take on the net. If you go to MS Access, if you go for categorical function, you'll go for numeric functions. There's something called format with number. How to make format number with 0 decimals? You have to write standard, capital S, remaining all is small. So, or you can write here as what? This way format, so that you can avoid the decimal values. So how should you do that? In this program, build, in the expression here, you can write this. Understood? And you just try to remove these decimals and run the query. Now it's still coming with decimals. So just say build and call 0, 0. If it is not working, nothing to worry, I'll show you again after some time. No, it is not coming here, leave it. Now I can select here number of trips. I'll take it as what? Sum, and I'll call this column name as what? Visits. Yes or no? Then I'll take the spend amount. How would I do this? Sum, and I'll call this as what? The column name? Spent. If I run this query, did I get the output here coming? If I want to see the result by what? By state code and company wise, I can bring the state code before the company. Group by state code, group by company. If I run this query, I get the output this way. Yes or no? Did you understand how to go for summarize this data? So this is how. This is called select query 5. Understood? Everyone? Clear now? Perfect. Now we have completed the select query. Now we'll talk about make table query. What is make table query? I go to create. I create a query design here where I select this table. I selected this table. I go for customer ID, company. I go for gender. I go for age. I go for state code. I go for town. I go for number of trips, and I go for the field name is spend amount. If I run this query, I got this output here. Yes or no, guys? Everyone? Clear. Moving on to this, what you have to do here? I have to add a new field called age underscore bucket. So how do you go for age underscore bucket? Putting a colon, you will say build expression. In this build expression, what do you write here? Double if. If age greater equal to 60, you will call them as what? Old age. Again, double if age is greater equal to 40. I will call them as what? Mid age. Else I'll call them as what? Young age. I close the bracket twice. If I run this query, I got the output here, guys. Everyone, is this clear to you? Where should you keep your age bucket? You should be keeping this age bucket besides to age. And this is called data normalization. Why your age spelling is coming correct? What will you do here? Right click, build expression, and change it here. Right. This is coming perfect now. No, still some issue is there. What you can see here, this is called right. Just apply and okay. Does it come now, guys? Now, whatever you did here, you want to save this to a new table. You will go to make table and call this as made new. Can you see this, guys? You're about to paste 5,112 rows to a new table. I said yes. The moment I say yes, and I save this query called make table query 1. So you have a make table query, which is creating as what? Made new output. Can you see this? Now this is a made query 1. Now again, I'll go for creating another query where I'll take this made table. I want to see by state code wise, by company wise, the count of customer, the total visits, and the total spend. How would you do that summary? You click on this total, group by state code, group by company, customer ID would be what? Count, number of trips would what? Sum, and this will also go as what? Sum. You will call this column name as what? Subscribers, colon. You will call this column name as what? Total underscore visits. Yes or no? You will call this column name as what? Total spent. Does it make sense to all of you? Now this is how you summarize the data. Once you summarize how to save this query, you will say make table. You call this table name as what? Made summary. right? And you run the query. You're saying that you are about to paste 63 rows. It shows the new table has been created as what? Made summary. Now you will save this query as what? Make table query 2. Does it make sense to all of you guys? Everyone, did you understand? Now we'll talk about append queries. Okay, what is append queries? Go to create, query design, make this made to you. In this made 2023, I press Control key to select only the column that I want to retrieve from this table. Does it make sense to all of you guys? Understood? I call this table name as Apollo. Now I would be saving this table called made underscore Apollo. Did you see this, guys? What did I do here? I saved the table name as made Apollo. So I got a made Apollo table. Same way I write here Cipla. So what will I call this table name now? Made Cipla. And I say OK to run the query. I can see made Cipla is also created. Now I'll create another table which is called Geno. I'll give the table name as what? Geno. Yes or no, guys? I'll run the query. It's saying you are about to paste 571 rows. Now it is made Geno is created. Now I want to create another table called Religare. If I run this query, did I get the output for? No. I'll go for creating the new table called made Religare. Yes or no? Everyone. If you run this query, why you got the error? LE. If you run this query with made Religare, you can see the 552 rows have been affected. Now you close this query. It's not required. So you have made Apollo, Cipla, Geno, and Religare, correct? Now what I'll do here, I'll create another query where I take the made Apollo, I select all the columns, I create another table called made underscore all. So I created made Apollo. From made Apollo, I'm selecting make table to create a new table called made all. Can you see this? Guys, now you have made all. It is having data for what? Apollo. Now you want to append to this table. What you will append? Cipla, Geno, and Religare. How do you do that? Going to this create, query design, you take Cipla. Select all the field from Cipla and you can say append. Append to which table? Made all. Does it work? Right? Same thing. You select for Geno. Select all these columns and you will append to which table? Made all. Run. You are about to append 571 records. Now you'll go for Religare. You select all these columns. You will append to what? Made all. Yes or no? This is how you got the table with made all having the column values. Yes or no, guys? Apollo, Cipla, Geno, Religare all are appended. Yes or no? So this is how we go for saving this query called append query in Access. And the icon for append query is coming as plus symbol. This is the select query. This is the icon for make table with a screwdriver. And this is called append. Can you see this?
Yes,
The
sir.
next query we'll be talking about here is that which is called update query. What is update query? Now let's say I select this table here. Okay. Now I select only the column that I want to take out of this table. So I select only these 5 columns. Or let's say I also go for number of towns. These all columns also I select. Understood? Now I save this table name called made underscore update. Make table. I created this table here. Now what I'll do, I create another query. Now in this table, you have these many columns. I bring this table here and I select gender. I choose the query name called update. If it is female, you will update as what? If. Understood? If you run this query, it says you have updated 3406 record. Now, if you go to this table, wherever female was there, and it has been updated by what? If. You will also say male. You will replace by what?
Yeah.
M. If you go to this query and run, you can see in this table, wherever the female male was there, this is all in male. But wherever unisex is there, it is coming as unisex. For that, what will you do now? You will call to u. If the value is coming as what? Run this query. So now you can see in this table, there is no unisex. It is coming as u only. Does it make sense to all of you guys?
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the query we call update query 1. Now how update query icon is coming? It is coming with a table which is trying to use the screw to update it. Now the next query we will be doing here, that is going to crosstab query. What is crosstab query? I take this made table. Now I want to create a pivot table. How would you create the pivot table? I would take my company, I would take my gender, I would take my customer ID. I'll do a crosstab. Crosstab means pivot table. In this crosstab, I want to show my company into what? Row label in pivot table. I want to bring gender into what? My column label, which is column heading. I want to take my customer ID into what? Value field. But how do you want to show the value? As a count of customer. If I run this program, I get this in a pivot form. Understood?
Yes,
Crosstab
sir.
means pivot table. What do you do in pivot table? You bring the table with what? Row label, column label, and value. Value what you take? Count of customer ID. This is what you have done here. Are you able to understand? You select as what? Crosstab. In crosstab, you make it as what? Row heading. You make it as what? Column heading. You make it as value. So this is how you save this query called crosstab query 1. Understood? I'll show you one more query. Same crosstab query. This time I'll take it here. Now this time I want to see by state code wise, company wise, total spend. How will I see that? I'll take my state code wise, I'll take company wise, and I'll take as what? Spend amount. In a crosstab, how do you want to show the state code? Row heading? Yes or no? You want to show this company as what? Column heading?
Column,
You want to show spend amount as what? Value?
value,
How value as
com,
what? Sum. Spend amount
sum.
should be sum.
Okay.
If you do that, does it come?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Understood now,
Yes.
guys? So now we can say control save this called crosstab query 2. Does it make sense to all of you guys? Everyone? Got
Yes,
it?
sir.
Now we'll talk about the next query, which is called delete query. Now, what is delete query? I'll show you that now. First of all, you go for creating, select the table. In this table, I press Control key, select the column, customer ID, company, gender, age, state code, town, number of trips, and the spend amount. I drag those column and drop it here. Yes or no? Understood? Now I save this table called made underscore delete. I'm creating a new table here, which is called made underscore delete. Can you see? The table is created here, everyone. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The table is created. Now I go to query design, select this table, bring this star. Then I say delete. When I say delete, it is going to delete all the records from the table, but table remain exist. Now there is no record because I deleted all the records. So this is called save as delete query 1. So how this icon is coming, right?
Into my
Understood? Now delete query, delete using criterias. So how to do that? First of all, again, I'll take this customer ID, company, gender, age, state code. I'll go for number of trips, town, spend amount. I call all those columns. Array. Okay. I drag the column like this. Customer ID, company, gender, age, state code, number of trips, town, and the spend amount. Drag those columns and drop it here. Can you see this? Now you want to append these records to which table? May delete, because already we deleted those records. Now I can append to get my table fit. If I go back to my may delete, it is having records now. Yes or no?
yes, sir.
What I will do here, I'll go to query design. In this query design, I select this. I select all the fields here. I said I want to delete company in Apollo, Cipla, and Geno. Does it make sense? So I want to delete the companies what? Apollo, Cipla, and Geno. Gender is what? Female. Age is what? Greater than 70. Okay. So this is the criteria I give it to delete my records. If I do delete, it's saying you are about to delete how many records? Based on these 3 criteria. Okay. So this is called Control S delete query 2. Understood now, guys? Now we'll talk about union versus union all. What is union versus union all? For that, we'll go for importing data. From where I'll import the data now? Okay. The data is not there. So what I'll do first, I'll go for, right. In this made Australia data, no, it's not there. Okay. I'll take it here. Create an Excel file called union versus union all data. What I'll do here, I'll open this Excel file. By the same time, I'll go to other batch in the SQL session 3 raw data, vertical join data. I'll go for. There I have this data is given. I copy this and I paste it here. And I call this student score 1. I'll also create here student score 2. Right. Got it? Now, what I'll do here, I'll go to Excel file to browse the data. I'll take which data? So what I'll read from this data now? Student score 1. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Everyone? Done. I got student score 1. Again, I'll go for importing data from what? The same file. I'll get the data for what? Student score 2. Understood? Now in student score 1, how many records are there, guys? 11 records are there. Student score 2, how many records are there? 11 records. But CME's first 3 records are duplicate. Yes or no? Guys, for CME, the first 3 records are duplicate. What happens if you go to create a query design? If you click on this union query, you write a query called select star from score student score 1. You write union all select star for store underscore score 2 and put a semicolon. If you run this query, it is giving you how many records? 22. So this is called union all query. So how this query is coming? Like a ring? Yes or no? Again, you go for another query design. You select union query. You write what? Select star from stu underscore score 1. You will use what? Union select star from stu underscore score 2. Yes or no? If you run this query, how many records are coming? 19. So union will get all of what? All the unique values. Union all is going to get irrespective of duplicate. Everything is going to come. Understood now, guys?
Yes, sir.
So how to do that in Access? This is called union query in Access. Okay. So now you understand about all the queries that we can use in Access. Is this clear to all of you guys? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now we are going to the major topic, which is called joining relationship using your Access. Are you ready for this? This is how the interesting thing is going to come in. What we'll do here, we'll talk about joining table. Okay. Now I'll go for create Access database called joining tables. Look at this joining data. What happened? Feeling sleepy? After this, we have student education. Can you see this, guys? Everyone? Yes or no? Then we have given student experience. So if I take this two table, tell me, guys, what is common in both the table? Student ID is common. In student, how many records are common? 5. Yes or no? What is not common from the left table?
S6 and S7.
What is not common from the right table?
Yes.
Sorry? Right. If you say inner join, how many records will come?
5.
Right. And if you say full join. How many records will come?
9.
So who are those 9? Tell me.
Yes,
Left,
yes,
2 records,
Yes, it is 9.
and right, 2 records.
2 records.
Yes or no, guys? Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you say unmatched,
4.
how many records will come?
4.
4.
Who are they?
yes, it is
S6, S7, S8, S9.
6, 6, 7,
nine.
S8,
Right.
S9.
If you say left join, how many records will come?
7 records.
7. 7 records.
7. Right. And if you say left null, how many records will come?
2
2.
records.
2.
Two.
And what are those?
S6, S7.
S6 and S7.
Okay. If you say right join, how many records will come?
7.
7 records.
Sorry?
7.
Hello?
Yes or no, guys? Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting this?
Yes.
Right. Now, if you say right null join, how many records
Two
will come?
records.
2
Two
records.
records.
S8, S9.
S8, S9.
So, did you understand how to get these records, guys? Everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is the joining concept clear to you? Now, let's do
Yes.
this using your access.
Access.
Open this access database. What will you do now? What will you do? You'll go for external data to choose the file. Where you want to browse this file? D drive? No. You'll go for crash course, MS access, data. Yes or no? You'll do it as what? Joining data. Click on this. Next, student education. First row contains your data. Always choose no primary key. Next, it got the table of student education. Yes or no? You'll go for importing
Yes.
another table. Which table will go for importing now? Student experience. Yes or no? Guys, are
Yes,
you
sir.
getting this? Guys, please go on mute. Please go on mute. Guys, please go on mute. Understood? Now, how
Yes,
to
sir.
go for inner join? Student education, student experience. What is common field? Drag it and drop it.
Should
Double click on this. Choose the first option. What says? Only include rows where the joint fields both are equal. That means student education, the common field name is what? Student ID.
Student ID.
Student experience, common field name is what? Student ID. If you do and bring those columns out here, can you see this? Understood? You get the output is coming. Yes or no? 5 records are coming. But what I'll do here, just to in safer side, student ID, I call this SID1. You call this as what? SID1. And for this, you call SID2, means second table. If you run this query, it's saying SID1, student ID, student, the left table, all the student IDs, and right table, all the student IDs. Understood now?
Yes.
This is how you save this query called inner join. Understood? If you want to go for creating left join, how to do that? Select this two, select the join, choose the second option. Include all the record from student education, common from. So now the arrow indicator is coming as what? Left to right. Select all the columns here. Select all the columns here. You call this column name as what? SID 1. You call all this column name as what? SID 2. Run this query. Does it make sense to all of you? This is the output
Yes.
of what? Left join query. Is it that difficult, guys? Everyone? Huh?
No, no, sir.
No.
No. Now, how to get the right join? What will do? Which option you will choose it here?
Third one.
Third. Include all the records from student experience, common from student education. Drag this here, drag this here. This is called SID 2, and this is called SID 1. Understood? You will save this query called right join query. Understood now, guys? Everyone
Yes, sir.
got it? Now, how to get left null join? What will do? Make it as left join. Then bring all the column values here, all the column values here. You call this SID 1. You call this SID 2. But you have to give a condition criteria as what? Is null. Is it coming left null? So we
Yes.
call this as clear. Everyone. How to go right null? Who can answer this question? You will go for right join. You can bring all these columns here and all these columns here. You call this column name as what? SID
SID
2.
2.
And you call this column name as what?
SID.
1.
Oh,
You run this
null.
query,
State
give this
table is
output. Guys, please go on mute. You write is null. If you write is null, is going to be right null. Save this query called right null join. But you don't have any unmatched. Do you have unmatched records here in? There is no query for full join. There is no query for full join. Then how to go for full join? What will you do? How to go for full join, guys?
Append the table.
Yes. What's your name?
Madan.
Very good. You take inner join value. Make table called full join output. Yes or no? You create a new table called full join output and save it. So now in your query, you have full join output. You have only inner join values. What will you do here? You will create another query where you will take the left null value query and you will say append to full join output.
Also.
Yes or no? Same way, you will take it for right null value. You will select all these things to append to what? Full join
Left.
output. Yes or no? So now if you go to full join output, it is going to have full join output here. Because in inner join, you have appended left null and right null. Clear?
Yes, sir.
How to get unmatched join?
Uh,
Yes, done.
To give criteria for this.
No criteria on this. Simply go for create, query design, take your left null.
Yeah, append both the left
Yes,
null and right.
left null, and you create something called unmatched output. Right? What you'll do here now? You'll take and you will say what? Append to unmatched output. So now if you go to unmatched output, you have both left null output, right null output. This is how we go for access with joining. Is this clear?
yes,
Clear
sir.
now, guys?
Yes, sir.
So we'll talk about relationship. Relationship are what, guys? 4 types. What are those? One to one, one to many to one, and many to many. So we'll do this relationship concept using what? Access. We call relationship in access. You'll see how relationship works in access. Okay. So what I'll do first, I'll go for data. You'll be reading this data from where? From your D drive, going for MS Access data. I will choose at what, guys? Relationship data, right? In this relationship data, I'll take the first table name is player score. I'll just go and get this output here. Yes or no, guys? This is the player score. Then I'll go for importing the data here, which says about players details. Now I have a question for you guys. If you go for this is the players details and this is the player score. If you join these two tables, what is the common field? And if you join these two,
SID.
what type of relations is going to build up? One to one.
One.
So ultimately, you will say players details and player score. If you join by what?
one.
Players ID, you can get these outputs are coming here. Yes or no, guys? It is going to have 8 records. Understood? Very good. This is called one to one relationship. Understood? Now next is you'll go for reading data. Where will you read this data? Match score. Right? So in match score, what happens? You have a table called match score. Can you see this? It is given as P1 to P8, P1 for match 1 score, P1 for match 2 score, P2 for match 1 score, P2 for match 2 score. Yes or no? So how many records are coming here? 16. If you look at these players details, it is given P1 is what? Sachin, and he's a batsman, right? Now, if you run this, if you go for join these two tables, what type of relation is going to build up? So if you go from player details to match score, it is going to be
One to many.
One
So
to
now start this. So how many records will come now? How many records will come if you join these two tables? It'll create 16 records. Understood now, guys? So this is an example of what? One to many. Understood? Now I'll give another example to you. If you go for match score table to players details, what type of relations is going to build up? Many to one.
many to one.
Many to one.
So how would you show that here? Match score to by what? This relationship is wrong. Yes or no? It should be players ID to. If you run this program, you get this here. Understood? How many records are coming? 16. It is from the match to the players details coming. So this is called many to one. Perfect. Now I'll go for importing some more tables now. Which will go for importing? Series score. Yes or no? Right. Now you'll go for importing players contribution. So look at here. You have series score. What is given here? Country, series, and the total score. Player score contribution. What is country, scorer, and the proportion? What is common in both the table?
Country.
Does country duplicate here? Because of series.
Series.
Does country duplicate here? Because of players. Is there any relationship between series and players? No. So that means duplicate to duplicate. It will create many to many relationship. So how many records will come for India now?
12.
12. And how many records will come for Australia?
9.
9. So total 21 records will come. Yes or no? So let's do this. Series score, players contribution by this. If you drag this, it will create how many records? 21 records. Does it make sense to all of you guys? So this is an example of what? Many to many in Access. Clear? Now we'll talk about data model. Interesting, right? So how many types of data models are there? What are those data models?
2. Snowflake.
Star
Star
schema.
schema and
Complex and sharpen.
okay. I'll show you here. I'll go for importing the data. From where you will import the data? From your Access, and the data is what? Data model data. Yes or no? In this data, I'll go for importing transaction table. No primary key and done. Same way, you'll also go for importing. The next table is going to be customer master table. Yes or no? Can you see this? Now, the next table we'll go for importing is what, guys, here? Product master table. Yes or no? Right. Done. Then you'll go for importing which table? Store master table. Right. Then you will talk about what? Staff master table. Understood now? No primary key. Staff. You will go for importing as what, which table? No primary key and supply master table. Does it make sense to all of you guys, everyone? Understood? So now how to go for designing the data model? You will have transaction master table. You will have customer. You will have product. You will have store. You will have staff. If you go for connecting, it is by, you will connect it by, you will connect it by, you will be connecting by what type of data model it is?
Star schema.
Star schema. What type of relations you will prefer here? Left join. Yes or no? From the fact table. What is the fact table here? And how many dimension tables are there?
4 dimension.
Right? You will select this, all the columns here. You will select customer name, date of birth, and by mobile number by pressing the control key and keeping besides two. Same thing with product related information. You will be selecting like this, yes or no, and drag it to drop it besides two. You will go for getting the staff related information store. You'll keep it besides to the what? Store ID. You will get this staff related information besides to, right? Now you want to create one field called sales. How do you create the sales? It should multiply quantity with what? Price. So quantity multiplied with price, right? Now this is running. You get the output of what? Star schema data model. Is it difficult? How quickly you can do this? Yes or no? It is
Yes,
called
sir.
star schema data model. I tell you guys, when I learn Access by seeing others are working in Access. But trust me, nobody came to help me. When you get into the job, you might be thinking your friends, your colleagues, your managers will come and help you. They never help you. Everybody is your competitor in the corporate world. The moment you join, a person sitting next to you, they will look for your weakness. Make sure that you learn skills in such a level, the moment they see your skills, they should start afraid of themselves. When I joined in the first company where they're using Access to learn one simple thing, how to convert this short text when the date values are missing, nobody was there to help me. I struggled 5 days. That time, no Google, nothing was helping. No chat GPT by that time. I was not able to get this answer, right? And what I learned from my real-time practical, I'm helping you guys to learn this Access in just 2 hours time. Value it. Okay. This is called star schema data model. Understood? So how to go for creating your snowflake data model? How to do this? Can you? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes.
How do you make relations between this? How do you make relations between this? How to make relations between this? How to make relations between this and this by? What type of relations you prefer here?
Snowflakes.
Snowflakes.
Arey, what type of relations will fix here?
Left.
Left join. Yes or no?
Yes, right.
Right. Understood now, guys? What will do here?
Can
We'll go for data normalization. How do you go for data normalization? Bringing the customer information besides to
customer ID.
you
Customer
first search where is the customer ID. Where?
First to the
Then you bring this customer related information to product related information besides to.
product
Then you have to bring this supplier related information besides to
supplier.
supplier ID.
Supplier ID.
You'll bring this store related information besides to,
Okay.
store.
and you'll bring this staff related information besides to,
Right.
Staff ID.
and you want to create an expression called sales based on what?
Quantity to
Quantity to be multiplied with
Quantity into price.
price. Understood, guys? Everyone?
yes,
Sir.
Did you get this?
yes.
And this type of data model is called.
No.
Snowflake.
Snowflakes.
Is it that difficult, guys?
No, sir.
No.
तो हम इतना difficult क्यों सोचते हैं? Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Now we are going for the functions class. I'll finish the function in just 20 minutes or 30 minutes maximum. Okay. So let's start with the function class. What happened? You're not happy? You're happy. Okay. I'll start with the character functions. Can you see these guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. What you see here in these character functions, this the data is given. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I want to create customer name in capital. Right. I will create customer name in small. I'll create customer name in proper. How to do that in Excel?
Yeah, per.
Of what? Customer name. Yes or no? I'll get it as what?
Lower.
Lower.
To get it as what? Lowercase. I need to get it as what?
Proper.
Of what? To get in proper case. Right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
To get customer first name. What do you use in Excel? Mid function.
Yes.
Customer name.
Text.
Want to find the position of space minus. Does it make sense to all? How to get customer L name? How to get that, guys? Yes, tell me. Sorry? Mid
Mid.
of what?
Function text.
Customer
Then
name. Find
Space.
Find.
space.
One.
A2
A2
plus 1.
and 1.
I'm going for 20 character, 30 character, 50 character. How does it matter? I get this. How to get the full name? Yes. You will use
Concatenate.
Concatenation.
concatenate of what?
First name or second name.
Customer
With?
junction. Last.
Does it make sense to all of you? You got to do the same thing using your access. If you know this much, you know enough. How will you do that in access? I'll do a character function in access. Yes or no? I'll say character function using what? A1 dot. Now I'll open this Excel file. Understood? Now in this Excel file, what will you do? You will choose
Input.
data. What will you do here? D drive,
2020.
right? MS access. What will you do here? Data,
Data.
right? Next, and you will say what?
Function.
Customer data example. Okay. Clear now? Now this is the table. Yes or no, guys? Everyone.
Yes.
What I'll do here? I'll bring this. I'll create customer name, capital. How will I do that? Right click, build expression. Can you see this? There is a function called uCase, uppercase, table, and the column name. Understood? Got it? Then I'll say customer name, small. How to get that? L case, bracket start, table, customer, and the field name is what? Customer name, bracket close. Understood, guys? I'll say customer name, proper. How to get that in proper case? There's a function called inString. So this is called string conversion. String conversion. Something like this. Let's देखते हैं. Now with 3. Let's see how it is working. If I run this program, does it work? 3 means 1 means capital, 2 means small, and 3 means proper. String conversion. Does it make sense to all? Are you getting this, guys? No, you are not getting it. It is uCase, uppercase. Okay. This is lowercase. And this is str, string conversion is the function name. Okay. String conversion with 3 means proper case. 2 means small. 1 means capital. If I put 1, what will happen now? It will give in capital. Can you see this? If you say string conversion 2, what will happen? Does it come in small? If you do string conversion in what? 3, what will happen? Yes. Right? Now in the first name, you want to find the space position. What do you find? Space position. How do you find the space position? What do you do in Excel? You use find function, right? But here you use inString. INSTRAG. What is the column name? You will search for what? Okay, this is something wrong. Right. It is inString. Okay. Now run. Does it give the space position here, guys? Yes or no? If you can find the space position, you can get the first name. How will you get the first name? Tell me. You will use mid function. With what the field name? Customer name, right? 1 to how many character?
Mm.
With what? Yes or no? The hygiene space. Yes or no, guys? Does
Yes.
it come?
Yes.
Does it come the first name? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next. How to get the last name? Mid function. What is the column name? Yes or no? Starting from right? Wherever it comes from there. Oh, S हो गया है. Does it make sense to all of you guys? Right? Now your first name and last name is there. You want to get the full name. How to get the full name? Tell me.
Unconditional.
Concat.
First name, right? Ampersand, space, ampersand, last underscore. Does it work?
Yes.
Did you understand how your character function works in
Yes.
Access?
Axis.
Close this, query 1, done. Now we can use concat also, but I'll not use. So character function is over. Now we'll talk about what? Numeric function, right? In numeric function, what we will do now, I'll tell you about that. It's very simple. It's not that important, but at least you should know it. I copy this data. I just do it here. I get the total sales. How do you get the total sales? Tell me. Sum of what?
Total.
Yes or no? Right? If I say QTR 1 percentage, how would I get that? By
Total by QTR.
total sales. Yes or no? How to present this? Format cell in what?
Percentage.
Perfect. Are you getting this? Same thing for
Yes.
Q2, Q3, Q4. Now let's do this using what?
Axis.
Access. So you'll say A2 dot numeric
Function.
function. How do you do this? External data. You'll find the data here. Where will find this data? Class codes, MS access, data, function data, and numeric data. Yes or no? Next, 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 no primary key. And this is called sales data. Yes or no? Are you getting this, guys?
Yes.
Now the question is coming. Create a query design. Bring this all. Select all these fields. You want to get as what? Total underscore sales. You might be thinking I'll use a function, inbuilt function, right? Built-in function for what? Numeric, right? Mathematics. Is this somewhere saying sum? No. No. Right. That means there is nothing called sum function in what?
Yeah.
Right. So you have to go for selecting this table with a column Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus. Can you see this? But there is an expression is created here. You can delete this. Otherwise, this program is not going to run. If you run this program, you can see total sales is coming. Now, how to calculate QTR1 rate? How to calculate the rate? You will say, what is the column name?
Total.
Total.
Yes.
Divided by,
Total.
yes or no? If I run this query, I get the value in percentage, decimal, but I want to get into a percentage. So for that, what will I do now? Yes. How would you use the format? Format with what?
P0.
P.
Percentage.
Does it make sense to all?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So this is how we understand about your percentage format. Now we'll talk about date time function. Okay. Look at this date time here. Before time, we are going to finish. In this data, what you want to achieve here, right? To the order date, what you want to get? Order year. What you want to get? Order month. What do you want to get here? Order day. You also want to get what? Order year, month. How would you get these 4 fields? Tell me.
Is equal to year.
Year of,
Order day.
right. You will say
Month
month function of,
Order.
you will say
A function.
day function of.
Order.
How to get this?
Is equal to year.
Year of
Plus month.
Order.
plus
Date. 100.
month of.
Date.
Are you getting this? How to get days gap? Date diff.
Date.
Date
Date.
difference.
Order date to
If date.
shipping day with D. Understood? Right? Now How to get the age of the customer? Date diff between these two today with y. Saloni, you answer all the questions here. Very good. Did you understand? This is something we want to achieve in what?
Access.
Right. So how would you do that? Right click, create access, call a3 dot date time function. So how would you go for doing this? Date time function, guys. What will you do here? Reading data from where? Crash course, MS access, data, function data, and date time. Understood, guys? I will say the table name is what? Global sales. Understood? Now we'll select all these. We want to get as what? Order year. How to get that? Year function over. The field name is what? You will go with order date. Got it now, guys? Then to get order month, what we'll do here? Build month function of what? Order date. Then order day. Right? How to get the order day here?
Day.
Day function of
Order date.
order date. Right? How to go for order? Year month. You will say
Year month.
year function of
Plus 100 into 100.
month of. Does it make sense? Now days gap. How to get the days gap? Date
Days.
diff. Yes or no? Are you getting this? DAT-DIFF. You will say days gap, right? You will write what? Day. Within what?
Order date.
Order date to
Shift.
okay. Now you want to calculate age. How to calculate the age?
Date.
Right? Date diff with what? Y. Year gap between what is that? Date of birth and date. I got some error for days gap. For days gap, it is not DAO. God. Did you understand what mistake I did?
Yes.
Still I got some error. It will be, you're right. Why it is taking this way? It is going to D. Let's see. Yes, it is working now. Does it make sense to all of you guys? How to get this? So this is how we have finished now your numeric functions also. Coming back to the content, yes, the big answer is we have finished everything now.